Hello, fellow fantasy sports fans. I'm Dr. Dan Ratner, and you are watching MFSN The Hub's Waiver Wire Basketball Show. I am here with Vlad to the Bone. I know that's your baseball name, but I don't know your basketball name.
Take
Casey Scheinvold. And Ross the Boss.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk fantasy sports waiver wire with you, cowboy.
I always know to wait because you never know how long that's going to take. Sometimes Ross does that, and it takes 5 minutes, and we just
Sometimes you're correct, sir. Yes, 5 minutes.
It can get very awkward. So, guys, listen. For those of you who are watching, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, put your comments below. But also, you can come in to talk with us by video or by audio by going to www.mfsn. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not right. www.callmfsn.com. You can go to MFSN. I mean, hey, that's still us, but you can't call in that way. So, guys, we are here to talk waiver wire. Most leagues, I believe, are putting in claims. Some are doing it daily, but a lot of them are doing it towards the end of the week on a Sunday night. So we're getting a jump on that a little bit. Let's start talking about the players that are 60% or less owned in Yahoo that we think are great ads. We're going to start with the must-haves. This is where we always start. I'm going to start with you, Ross. Who's one of your guys?
One of my guys, I know Jason Tatum has been playing. He finally came back. When he comes back, this guy won't be affected at all. It's Daniel Theus. Daniel Theus loves points, loves rebounds, loves blocks, good with steals. He's okay with assists, but he's somebody that's getting more minutes. He's getting more time. He's under 50%. I suggest you pick him up now. He's my number one pickup this week just because he is solid, and I love watching him play for the Celtics, and I feel he'll be more involved as time goes on.
Now, you're just saying that because I cut him earlier, because I drafted him, and I was excited about him. But then I cut him, and now Ross is recommending him.
Oh, he's on a big roll. He's playing great.
That's how it works for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you get rid of them, they explode.
I mean, he's playing 24 minutes a game, 13 points a game, and he's averaging over 7 rebounds a game in the past 2 weeks. He's on the upward up. Pick him up now. It's somebody you should get immediately if you don't have him.
You know what I'm going to say also about him is that Daniel Theus ranked number 60 in all of Yahoo last year. And so I'm going to agree with Ross. I think he's way up on the list. We have a statement from Laurent. She says, "Hey guys, I picked up Wayne Ellington this week. Good pick."
Hey, hold on. Just so you know, I mentioned Wayne Ellington last week. And the first thing she did was she outbidded me for Wayne Ellington in our league. And because of me, I got destroyed. I should have not even mentioned his name. I don't know why I mention all these great names on the show, but I do it because that's my job. But that being said, Wayne Ellington, he's hitting like 60% field goals, 53% three-point shooting. The guy's on a huge tear. He's playing 32 minutes a game for Detroit. No one watches the games anyway. But I want to hear her, Wayne Ellington. I'm just curious to see what she has to say. Just rubbing it in my face. What is it? What is it? What's the question?
Listen, what we need to acknowledge, Ross, is that you did the right thing. Okay, this is a show where we're supposed to inform our viewers.
We're supposed to help the audience.
You don't hold back. You gave up the body. You gave it up.
I really
did. It was like driving to the
my
hoop.
Stomach about it. But what is her question about Wayne Ellington? I can't wait to hear a genius
She asked
question.
if it's a good pickup, and obviously you think it is.
It's a good pickup. That's what makes her the ninja, though.
Look at this field goal percentage. You know what this question is? This is Ross. I'm going to rub this in your face because I picked him up. I outbidded you, which she did. I give her credit. But Wayne Ellington, of course, I'm sure we all had him on our list. He plays in a really small market. No one watches Detroit Piston games. I never watch him. Do you guys watch him? No, but doesn't matter. People like Wayne Ellington. He's a huge pickup this week, and he's actually on number 2 on my list.
Listen, Casey, I'm going to get to one of your pickups in a second, but I don't think Lauren's talking trash. I really don't. I mean, just because she just said, boom, the ninja strikes. We don't necessarily know she's talking trash.
And to point out, her team name is Boom Shakalaka.
Oh, that's true. Okay, Casey, I'm going to get to you in a second, but we have a question from George Tucci.
I like George Tucci. He's from Montreal, Canada. He's one of the biggest experts in Montreal when it comes to NBA basketball. He watches every game every night. What's his genius question? Go.
The Lakers lost Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee as rim protectors. Brooklyn Nets lost Jared Allen as their rim protector. Do you foresee some trades on both teams before playoff time as a result? So, Casey, would you like to start us off?
Well, actually, interesting. One of my deeper pickups is actually JaVale McGee, even though he's on Cleveland, because from what I've been hearing, there was discussion about him being traded to Brooklyn to help be the replacement for Jared Allen, who I believe was traded to Cleveland. So,
oh my God,
he's only owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. And so I thought that was a really good deep pickup because he's only getting 14 or 15 minutes a night now. But if he gets traded to a team where he's expected to contribute more minutes, he can really help you out in a lot of those rebounding and defensive statistics.
So this is becoming like musical chairs.
Let me answer Tucci's question. Let me answer Tucci's question. First of all, I feel Hassan Whiteside's going to be traded to the Lakers. He's sitting at Sacramento making all this money, barely playing any minutes. A Whiteside would be the perfect player for the Lakers right now. And I also feel you're not going to like this, Dr. Dan, because I know you're a Cavs fan. I feel Andre Drummond is going to be traded to the Clippers. We talked about it earlier in the week. I feel Andre is on the last year of his contract. They have a lot of height, a lot of big bodies in Cleveland right now with McGee and with Allen there. And with that all being said, I feel Drummond's going to be on his way out. He'll come to the Clippers. Clippers will give up Beverly. They'll give up Zudik. They'll give up like 3 or 4 different players for that player. But I just feel that Drummond is on the move also. I think that's a great pick.
Didn't Garland come back? Why would Beverly be attractive to Cleveland?
I don't know.
Well, I think it's not so much about. I think for the Cavs, it's a salary structure issue, and it's all about who they can get, in that spot. Andre Drummond's going to leave in 3 months, so I think if they can get, some salary pickups and things like that, and hopefully at least one young player.
But I do feel Whiteside's gone. He's not going to be in Sacramento much longer. There's no way.
Well, listen, let me just say, and then we're going to go to our sponsor. You should consider picking up Hassan Whiteside in fantasy, because if he gets traded somewhere, and it's coming soon, the trade deadline is in February, you don't have to hold on to him for long. I think it's worth doing. You pick him up, and we're going to get to Matt Kleinman's question after we get to our sponsor. We are sponsored by Killcliff. These energy drinks are delicious, but I'm giving an advertisement when we're about to go to one. Here we go. Killcliff.
Buy any case of Killcliff, the clean energy drink, and get dinner for 2 on the moon. Go to killcliff.com.
Offer valid, totally valid. Transportation and not included. Dinner not to exceed $50 or $1 million, whichever is less at the time of redemption. We have no idea what the currency exchange rate is on the moon. We totally made that part up. They sound cool, but there's no such thing as moon dollars. But it would be neat if there were. Killcliff, big on fusion space, created by a Navy SEAL for people who aren't Navy SEALs. The official energy drink of Space Force and other people who aren't Navy SEALs. The biggest no-brainer in the history of drinks.
Wow, a commercial that merges Star Wars and the girl from Ipanema.
I love the taste when it hits my lips. It tastes so good. I love it.
Force.
Oh, Frank the Tank reference. Okay, we've got a question from Matt Kleinman.
Okay,
now, we've just discussed this, but he says, I've heard rumors of Andre Drummond being traded. If this happens, though, this is the question Matt Kleinman's asking, will that hurt his draft status? Okay, so, Matt, I assume what you mean is next year, when he's getting drafted and he's on a different team, is going to affect his draft status. Ross, what do you say to Matt Kleinman?
It just depends what team he goes to. I feel if he goes to the Lakers, because they have a guy named Davis on their team that loves to rebound and loves to score points, it could affect his output for sure. But if he goes to a team like a Clippers that needs a big man who needs scoring from a big man, they don't have that in the Clippers. I feel it just depends what team he goes to. You got to watch where he's traded to. He for sure is out of Cleveland. I don't know. I'm not quite sure where he'll go, but I have a feeling it can either be Dallas. I have a feeling it might be Phoenix, or I feel it could be the Clippers, but I think he'll be on the West Coast by, let's say, the end of January, by the end of this month, next few days. You should see him out of uniform.
Okay, I want to say more about that, but Matt Kleiman has another question, so we're going to get to that first, and then we're going to circle back. He says, one more question for RTB, not to be confused with RGB. One more question for him. The Wizards have missed 7 straight games due to COVID. Will these games be made up? Casey, I'm going to go to you on this one first, even though he asked Ross the boss. We'll get to you in a second. Casey, what's your opinion on what's going to happen with the Wizards and COVID?
Look, I think if you've had Wizards and you've kind of sucked it up by having them eat up bench space up to this point, they're going to try to make up as many of those games as they can, from what I understand, which means they might be having some weeks, if you're in a head-to-head league, where they're playing 4 or 5 games or more. And so they could bring you some volume numbers in terms of the steals and rebounds and points. It might hurt your percentages because they're going to be taking more shots and free throws, but who knows what's going to happen. But from what I've read, they're going to try to make up as many of those games as they can.
Casey, what they're doing is this. They only did the first half of the schedule. The second half of the NBA schedule is not out yet for this reason. So they're going to make up these 7 games somewhere in the second half, which means there's going to be more games, more rebounds, more points, more assists, more steals, more blocks, which these Washington players will be more in demand now because they're playing more games now than they are the other players, because Memphis also is another team that missed like 4 games. So you got to keep track of these players that are going to get a lot more games in the second half of the season. So yes, all these games are going to be made up. All the teams are going to have the same advantage with games. They're not going to diss some teams with less games. And you should try to get some players from Washington or Memphis for the second half.
I totally agree with you both, and I just want to make another point. There's no way the NBA is going to sell out one of their teams completely and not let them have a season.
No way.
I mean, it would be ridiculous. So what could happen, though, is they could make up a lot of games, but then towards the end of the season, if they're out of playoff contention, I could see those games potentially not being made up. But that's going to be after the fantasy basketball playoffs.
Thank you, Casey.
So
depends who they're playing.
Yeah,
if they're playing a team that could make the playoffs,
or
they're going to have to make it
for seeding, they're going to have to play the
game. You don't make sense, because if they could play, they're playing some team that could be in the playoffs, and they say, okay, we're can't.
Daniel, I think you made sense. Don't listen to him.
Or make up every game.
This happened last year, Ross. There were teams that did not play games at the end of the season. So if you think I don't make sense, just check on reality, and you'll see that I do. Okay, now, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, put your comments below, and don't hesitate to call us at www.callmfsn.com. If you're too shy to come in on video, you can come in audio. It's totally
George Tucci, you get on the computer right now and you go to www.callinmfsn, because we want to see you. We want to talk to you. You'll be funny, hilarious. Call right now.
That's right. Listen, the Lakers and the Nets are not the only teams that need a rim protector. We need a rim protector, and that's going to be you. I don't even know what that means, but you should come on. Okay, guys, other must-haves. I'm going to name one because I haven't so far.
Okay.
This is somebody who I did not have on my radar for a while, and Laurent, the ninja, swept in and got him. So we can't get him in our league.
It might be the same one I have then.
Reed.
That's okay.
Yes.
Naz Reid.
Darn it. I have to come up with another one. Okay.
This guy he's rebounding like crazy. He's getting the minutes, and his block shots are insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how she found him, but she found him. And he is one of my must-haves.
Okay.
Guys,
let me tell you about something about Naz Reid. I liked him 2 weeks ago. This guy named Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's an all-star center. He's been hurt for the past 2 weeks. He hasn't played. When he comes back, Reed's role is going to be diminished. He's not going to be playing as much. I'm sorry, Ninja, but your days with Reed are numbered. Enjoy him now, because soon he'll be worth nothing. And you will be sitting there with a player that's playing 10 minutes a game while Ross the boss is just laughing at you.
I feel like Ross is frustrated with Lauren's ability to get all of these hidden gems.
Yeah,
but in all truth, Karl Anthony Towns is hurt. He's playing for Karl Anthony Towns. So let's see what happens when Mr. Towns comes back.
Okay, but don't fail to consider that sometimes players emerge like this and they just stay that way. Now, I want to jump back for a second to the Andre Drummond argument. I'm not sure he's gone from the Cavs. I'm not sure he's gone from the Cavs, because the Cavs have his bird rights and they have money to spend and they're becoming a very good team already. They may decide to keep him. I would say it's a 65% chance that they're going to trade him, but it's not a definite. And here's the other thing I'd say. It doesn't matter where he goes. It is not going to change his value. He does what he does everywhere he goes.
Love it.
You don't have to worry about that at all. Any other must-haves you guys have? I have at least 2 on my list.
I have one more, and it's, we referenced earlier players who are going to play more games in the second half, and unfortunately, it's another boom shakalaka player. It's Xavier Tillman from Memphis. He's averaging 3 steals a game in the last couple weeks to go along with 13 points and 5 boards. That's insane. That's just great numbers. That puts him as the 32nd ranked player in the last 2 weeks overall in Yahoo, and he's only owned in 32%. So he's a player who can help you on the defensive metrics. He's shooting over 60%, excuse me. So he's out of his mind right now, and you might as well ride that hot wave.
And listen, he's been out so long that he's probably averaging like 12 hours of sleep.
I know, it's crazy.
3 steals a game, 12 hours of sleep. I mean, he doesn't play at all, but he's coming back soon. And it really is true. I agree with Ross the Boss. I agree with Casey. These games are going to be made up, and anybody who's had all of these postponements is going to go far. We saw the same thing in football.
And by the way, if you're playing 5 games in a week, the players who might not be starters are going to get more minutes so that they can manage the minutes of the starters as well when they're playing that many. So if somebody's getting, even if a star is coming back or a starter is coming back, the bench is still going to get good minutes when you're playing that many games in a week.
All right, Casey, you don't get to claim that you don't know what you're doing anymore. You're talking all this sense.
I've been watching this show.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
I've been watching for weeks.
I'm going to mention 2 names. Now, look, I admit these guys are on my team, and I've been banging the drum for them for weeks. But actually, the first person who said Nicholas Batum was Casey Scheinvold. This was weeks ago.
It was.
Yeah, you looked stunned there. I don't think you remembered. But Batum...
I do. I typed it into the comments.
Yep. So he's way up there. I think he's become a must-have. I mean, he's not a must-have in that he'll win you a league, but he's a great roster spot to have.
His past few games have not been impressive. I've not liked his numbers this week or last week. If you look at his past performances, it's been declining. He's not been He's not been an upgrade. He's been declining the past couple of games. So he's not a must-have for me. I have to disagree with you guys. I'm sorry, but
it's at least a hold.
It's somebody you take a look at. I like his 3-point shooting, but he's not been getting the minutes. He's not been taking the shots. He's not been getting the stats that he should be getting. I just feel there's other players on the Clippers right now that I'd rather have that are not taken. And we'll talk about that a little later. But that all being said, Batum right now is not a player that I feel is on the way up. He's on the way down. What? I see your finger up. What? What possibly?
I do think he's on the way down. I do think he's on the way down, but you have to remember.
So why do you want him on your team?
Because he's on the way down from spot 27. I mean, this guy is not going to go that far. You say he's had a bad 2 weeks. He's still ranked 98th. That's your bad 2 weeks?
If I was rated 98th in the NBA, I would retire. I would have to be in the top 20 every season for me to keep playing. Just so you know.
Listen, Nicholas Batum doesn't have the ego that you do.
I'm just saying his numbers went down. I watch Clipper games. I'm an expert with the Clippers. George Tucci. We watch Clipper games together. We both predict the Clippers win the championship in the West. We don't like the Lakers. But that all being said, Batum is not in the rotations. He's not getting the ball. He's not playing right now. Just listen to us. We know what we're talking about. The Frenchman is not playing.
Listen, I'm going to invite George Tucci to come on the show and tell me if you are truly a Clippers expert. Come on, George. Come on.
George, come on.
We have Party Marty Durbach has joined us. He's one of our favorite Canadians. He joins us for hockey. He drinks Irish car bombs 24 hours a day. I think he had like 72 yesterday. He says he got a car bomb drink. That's what he just said.
Okay, bring him on.
All right, let's
Party Marty. Let's hear it. Let's go.
Party Marty, you can come on if you want, but let's. I'm going to say my last must-have.
Let's go. I want to hear this.
It's Justin Holiday. I've been banging the drum for this guy for a long time. Look, first of all, at worst, he is a steals specialist. And I'm a guy who likes these specialists, not to own a lot of them, but you want one or two, because I'll tell you what, when the playoff comes and you need to win 5-4, let's say you're in a dogfight and you got to win steals, you want to own Justin Holiday. These are the kind of players you want to own. I have a different way of looking at the must-haves. I don't need to win regular season matchups 8-1 all the time and then show up in the playoffs and lose 5-4 because I don't have the specialists. So I really do like having those guys around. Anybody we've missed? And then we've got a question coming in from Laurent the Ninja.
I actually have a couple players, but they're not must-haves. They're players I want to consider to keep an eye on. So,
all right, we're going to get to those.
Okay.
Casey, how about you?
I'm with Ross. Mine aren't must-haves anymore.
You're fresh out. Okay. We got a question from Laurent the Ninja. Do you guys think Jared Vanderbilt is worth a stash? Great question. He's a player that I've started to notice in recent weeks. Didn't really have him on my radar before. Casey, would you get us started with Jared Vanderbilt? And listen, if this
I'm not as familiar with him, so I might need to pass on this one and let somebody else talk.
Okay. All right. Ross, I'm going to go to you. What are your thoughts of Jared Vanderbilt?
I like him. He's on his way. Another player on his way up. Very good. But you know what? I have a lot better players right now you could pick up that are better than him right now. And we'll talk about them very soon. But Vanderbilt does not make my list this week. But I think coming up he could. But that's a great question. I like him a lot. It's somebody you should take an eye on. But don't pick him up quite yet. He's not quite ready to be on your team.
Okay, but I will say this. This is the kind of player that maybe you want to pick him up just a week early. If you want to take a peek, it's okay. You know, let's say you're rostering Carmelo Anthony. Go ahead and cut him for Jared Vanderbilt for 1 week. But, guys, actually we have our first visitor. It is Party Marty.
Nice.
Party Marty, come on in.
What's going on?
What's going on, eh?
Oh, there he is.
What's going on, eh? Marty, I know what's not going on is the Ottawa Senators. They're getting destroyed in every game they play.
Yes.
Your boy Murray looks he's not even starting anymore. They're starting their backup now.
No. He's going to be playing. He's going to be playing tonight. And I said the pesky Senators will come out tonight and win tonight. And on Sunday, we'll beat the Edmonton Oilers on Sunday too.
A lot of big
Wow,
talk
Marty.
going on over there with Party Marty.
Oh, listen, I love that he's confident in his team. You know,
Yeah.
Marty, you obviously are not a Cleveland Browns fan. We've been. It's like we've been in an abusive relationship, so we don't.
Hey, I don't
talk
mind
like
Cleveland.
that.
I don't mind Cleveland, but you know, I want Tom Brady not to win the Super Bowl this year. So
Okay, let's see a car
Listen.
bomb. Let's go.
okay.
Wait, Marty, before you do that, we want the right view on this. Turn your phone the other way.
Turn the other way, like this.
Yeah, turn the phone. No, don't turn that the other way. Not yet.
Rotate the
This way.
phone.
This way.
I said launch, not lunch.
There
There
we
you
go.
Perfect.
Casey,
Okay.
help him.
I'd help him with a car
Oh,
bomb.
is this
I'm
an
fresh
Irish
out.
car bomb?
Yeah,
Here
Guinness.
he goes.
Bailey's, Jameson,
Listen.
and Guinness.
One.
All right,
Two.
I'm going to drink Killcliff while you drink
Okay.
that.
One,
Okay?
two.
Our sponsor,
Yeah.
Killcliff. There we go.
One.
Cheers.
Delicious.
Oh, my God. All right, Marty, before we let you go, I just
Yeah.
want to say, do you realize that the percentage of the time that I've spent with you that you're drinking an Irish car bomb is about 26%?
Yeah.
That's a very high percentage.
Yeah.
And I love you for it. You know, you're
Thank
a guy who knows how to have a good time, and you're
Yep.
showing me the ropes on hockey, and I appreciate it. Do you have
Don't
anything to
worry.
say to the basketball fans out there? You're a Raptors fan.
I just say enjoy your teams and have fun with the basketball. I love watching it a little bit, but I'm more hockey.
You're a
and
hockey.
football.
You're a hockey nut.
Yeah, I know I'm a hockey.
Marty,
nut.
we'll see you in the next couple of weeks. We'll do another hockey waiver wire show with you. We always love doing them.
Okay.
Always very, very informative with hockey. You're one of the biggest hockey minds actually in Canada.
Yeah.
We're very impressed with you. You can even keep up with Ross the Boss, which is amazing in hockey, which not many people can do. But Hardy,
I'll
we're going to
send
see you
some
next week.
I'll send you some trades this week, though, guys, too, probably.
Wait, I'll do that. But Marty, before you go, Ross
Yeah.
has something to say to you. Ross,
Yeah.
you're supposed to ask him to do another Irish car bomb.
One
I
more
can't do it 'cause
one
I'm
more
a
car bomb,
therapist.
and then we'll let you go. One more Irish car bomb, and we'll
Okay.
let you go. I try not to encourage alcoholism, but I guess I have to do it here. But
Yeah.
that all being
it's
said,
part of
Casey's very
Ross's-
quiet. Marty, we
I'm
have hockey
drooling.
on at our house right now. We're watching 10 games at a time. There's a lot of hockey on right now. So let's do it. Let's do it so you can get back to the TV.
Okay.
You got a long night ahead of you.
Okay, I'll get some Killcliff again.
Here we go. Dr. Dan drinking Kilgriff. This is unbelievable.
10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Chin chin.
Nicely done.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you guys later.
Wow,
Marty.
Well,
We love you,
I have a
Marty.
feeling
Great
you're gonna
job.
Have a very
That's
nice
pretty
night.
effortless.
Keep watching.
Nice talking to you.
Bye, Marty.
Bye.
Oh, Marty, one of our very favorite Canadians.
One of the best in the business.
Okay, now guys, we do have a question from Laurent, but before we get to it, I do want to remind everyone out there: click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, put your comments below, and if you want to do what Marty just did, you don't have to drink Irish car bombs, but you're allowed to if you want. Come to www.callmfsn.com. Okay, guys, let's move on to the solid pickups. These are guys who are not the must-haves, but these are guys that we think are going to keep their value for a good long while. So, Casey, I'm going to start with you.
JC Scheinfeld.
I'm going to start with somebody who's been injured for a while and only came back last night, and that's Dorian Finney-Smith with Dallas. Again, going back to Dan's theme of looking for specialists, this guy was averaging almost 3 steals a game for the few weeks before he got hurt. He missed, I believe, 7 games. I'm not sure the exact number, but he's coming back. He has Luka as a point guard who loves to get assists in the game, so he's going to get some points that way. He's a defensive specialist who can give you steals and blocks. His percentages are solid. He's not a must-have in any way, but if you need steals, if you need kind of somebody on the inexpensive side, he's a good guy to own.
Good one.
Listen,
I like that.
When
I like that
players
case.
get injured, when players are out for 7 games, I just like to say they got traded to the Wizards. They're just not playing, so it's just the same thing.
They were quarantined.
All right. We've been joined by Sam Jacobowitz. This is our MVP for my Q&A. He's going to have lots of good questions, I'm sure. But we have another question coming in. Before we get to that, we all know Wayne Ellington is awesome. You might be able to guess who this question is from. But what about his teammate, DeLon Wright? Okay, Ross, what do you think about Wright?
He's been getting a lot of minutes, a lot of shots. DeLon Wright, I like him better than Blake Griffin right now. Actually, I feel he's somebody that's really under the radar. I think it's a good pickup, but again, if you have Ellington, I don't think you need Wright. I think you should spread your team around and not have a bunch of players on the same team. So if you have Ellington, don't get Wright. Get somebody else on another team that we'll mention very soon. But that's my opinion. But I do like Wright. I actually have him on my list tonight.
Yeah. Wright's numbers are solid, but I didn't consider him because he's, I think, 63% rostered in Yahoo. So he was a little above the number there. He's only shooting 42%, which isn't the greatest percentage. But he's solid. Certainly he gets steals. He gets almost 10 points a game, 4 boards and 4 assists. So those are some pretty solid numbers, but I didn't consider him because he was over our threshold.
Me too. But I know my stuff, so I have to know what's going on with them.
We were trying to get Sam Jacobowitz to come on the show, but he can't because he's watching the Houston game. So I actually have a question for you, Sam. David Nwaba. I hope I'm saying his name right.
You are.
This guy is on Houston. He's putting up some big numbers. I have him in the solid pickup category, but he's kind of bridging between solid pickup and deep league pickup. I don't know how good he is. So, Sam Jacobowitz, tell me, David Nwaba, how do you feel about him as a pickup? I just did want to note, Sam is also saying DeLon Wright has been great and that Blake Griffin is a drop. And Casey, I believe you dropped him in our league.
Oh, I absolutely dropped Blake Griffin. Yes. So I'm with Sam on that one.
Yeah, he's been a nightmare for you. Okay, we got another question coming in. Do you think Jeff Green is worth an ad, or how about Taurean Prince? Yay, Cavs! I like it. What do you guys think of these? Ross, we'll start with you.
A 10-person league, no one Green, no one Prince. I feel Prince had a couple good games. I think he's way overvalued right now. I would not pick him up if I was you. There's better players that I'll mention. I swear we'll get to it. And Jeff Green, I just don't feel he'll get enough ball to be worth anything. I mean, he's fine, but Again, there's so many better players out there, especially in a 10-person league. If it's a 12 or 14-person league, yes, on both, but 10-person league, absolutely not.
Casey, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree entirely. I think they're great deep, not great. I think they're solid deep league pickups. But if it's not a deep league, I don't think it's necessarily neither of them are somebody I would roster right now.
I wouldn't. I mean, Jeff Green's been around. We know what he's going to do. He's always been a fringe guy to own. Sometimes people pick him up when he's hot. He's going to end up getting cut. So I think he's very much a deep league guy. Sam Jacobowitz weighed in on David Nwaba. He said he was on the Nets. He's a Nets fan. He was never good. So he's saying no. So
I agree with him. I don't think he's that good either. I would not pick him up if I had the choice. I don't feel
okay.
He's,
But listen,
and Sam brings up
players.
an important point.
I don't think he'll get playing time when some players get healthy on that team. He won't be seeing the court that much. I agree with him 1,000%.
All right, Casey, what were you going to say about?
I was going to say he brings up an important point that I kind of utilize in all fantasy formats. There are some players you just don't enjoy having on your team or enjoy watching, and even if they're solid enough to own, I would rather just not own them. And it sounds like for Sam, he's like, I watched him be horrible, so I'm not a fan. So the numbers aren't going to be enough.
I'm totally with that. If they've tortured you in real life or in fantasy, they don't come on your team.
I'm looking at you, Darvish.
You Darvish is, yes, your baseball pick. You're going to need to come up with who's your basketball guy who has really tortured you. But I will say this, Taurean Prince, I also think he's a deep league guy at best. But if of the two, he's the one who could break through. He's only 22 years old, and he's on a young team that's really learning. I'm not crazy about the guy, but I could see it. Okay, I got another guy to nominate.
Are we
Devin
on deep
Vassell.
league?
No, this is solid pickups. We're not on deep league ones, okay. Although David Nwaba swung us in that direction. Devin Vassell, I'm not one for talking up Spurs usually, but the guy's just putting up numbers, and he's playing minutes. This is the kind of player that makes me think I got to go watch a Spurs game because I got to see what's happening. When you're seeing those numbers, it can really help to go in and take a look. So, Ross, what do you think about Devin Vassell? I brought him up last week.
I'm not a fan. I've been looking at his numbers. They've been declining. He's not getting playing time like he should be getting. Some players are getting healthy there, especially when they get White back in San Antonio. He's been hurt. When White comes back, Vassell won't see the court at all. It's a horrible pickup. Again, there's better players to be picked up, especially in 10-person league. I'm not a Vassell fan. I'm just being honest with you. I'm sorry. I destroyed your dream and I crushed your whole thing, excitement for Vassell. But you know what? It's not a good pickup. And I got to be honest with the audience. And it's about being honest and truthful with yourself when you wake up in the morning. And you know what? That's what Ross the Boss does. I give you the truth. If you can't handle the truth, don't host the show.
Listen, I like it. Not only can I handle the truth, I can even handle you. I'm beating you so far. So listen, the guys who are watching this show, the girls who are watching this show, if you want to decide who to trust, Ross and I have different philosophies. Casey's got another philosophy that's still being defined because he's a new.
Casey's
player.
A genius, just so you know. He's a mental genius. He knows a lot of stuff, but he doesn't play his cards. He holds them like this, like a bad man. And he holds them like this. He never shows them till the very end. And when he shows them at the end, it's too late. We lost.
Listen, I love that he called you a mental genius. That makes me wonder who the physical geniuses are out there. Okay.
I'm certainly
George
not
Tucci says he's not coming on the show right now because he's a voyeur. Voyeurs observe and watch and send in questions. We live vicariously.
He's unbelievable.
George, this one's for you. I'm on camera and you're not. Is that good enough? Hopefully that is. Now, P. Donovan has joined us.
Patrick Donovan,
another friend of ours.
Patrick Donovan, coach of the Windsor College football team. He was all Canada in football. He's one of the big superstars that played Canadian football. He's unbelievable, this guy. What's his question?
Well, his question is, who has been your biggest bust this year? The absolute biggest bust.
Ooh. Mine?
In the league or on our rosters? In the league, it's got to be Jimmy Butler at this point, doesn't it?
He's
Lonzo Ball, Jimmy Butler's a huge bust. There's a few other players.
Blake Griffin has been unownable. I don't think he.
Yeah, but I think I got him for like $2.
Blake Griffin.
Right. I wasn't that.
I even want to say another player I want to say because he hasn't been averaging the points he did last year is Booker for Phoenix. Booker's not scoring like he used to. And he has his rebounds are low, his assists are low. He's not a great fantasy player. I love the kid. But Booker for Phoenix, it's just he's not like upper tier fancy player. He should be like 4th or 5th round. He's not. He's a huge disappointment for me. Also, I that's my opinion.
Okay, so Booker was the guy I was going to say, but Sam Jacobowitz just reminded me of who it really should be, and I should own this one because in our video predicting the best centers, I thought Hassan Whiteside was going to be good.
Yeah,
that guy has been the biggest bust. I gotta agree with Sam on this.
Sam
Booker is
you're
second.
Right.
I mean, Sam
and also Lonzo Ball, put him in the mix too.
I don't.
See, I never trusted Lonzo Ball.
I had him as a bust.
Oh, he was good
already.
last year. He was good last year. He was really he was great with assists, steals, rebounds. He had a great year last year, fantasy wise. This year, it's like half the numbers. He's actually on the list to be traded. Him and JJ Redick are going to be traded out of New Orleans. And the player I mentioned last week, and you guys laughed at me, is Nikolai Alexander Walker. He has the longest last name of any player in history, Alexander Walker. And he is actually he's getting 30 minutes. And right now he's getting 30 minutes when Ball and JJ are going to get 36, 37 minutes a game. And this guy's averaging like 14 points a game. He's getting assists. I love this kid. Pick him up now. Ball's time in New Orleans is almost done. JJ Redick should retire. He can't hit threes anymore. It's embarrassing. So again, a player that you should be on your watch list. I almost put on the must-have. It was this close, and I said, you know what? I want to save him for this list because I'll look like a genius. So Nikolai Alexander Walker, you should pick up
a mental
this week.
Genius.
I love it. His name goes all the way down his leg.
It does. It's hilarious.
So
if you watch a Pelican
is
game,
his name longer than SGA's? I don't even want to try to say
it's the longest name. There was one guy, some
longer.
Russian guy had a long name like 10 years ago. I forgot who it was, but this guy, his name's a lot longer. It's like the whole jersey.
All right, listen, Patrick Donovan. Sometimes we get questions directed right at Ross the Boss. Sometimes
I want to hear what this genius says. What
Casey,
is it?
You're new to this, so you're not getting them yet.
Yeah.
This is directly to me though.
Oh,
Patrick
good.
Donovan wants to hear he says, I want to hear Dan's top 5 GOATs. Now that's interesting because the greatest of all time. Now I've got to pick the top 5 of them.
Make it quick. Go.
Okay, well, Jordan is number 1.
Jordan 1.
LeBron is number 2.
Okay.
Kobe is number 3. Magic is number 4. And Larry Bird is number 5. That's
now,
what I would say.
Let me ask you a
now
question because George Tucci.
No, wait, I left out Kareem. Kareem.
No, that's fine though. Your list is fine. I love your list. One question after you, and you got to answer it truthfully. Where do you have Bill Russell?
Bill Russell's a top 10, but he's not.
But he's not the
top
GOAT,
5.
right? He's not a GOAT.
Absolutely not. He won 11 rings. And by the way, P. Donovan wants to hear my Bill Russell imitation. I don't actually remember it that well.
So I didn't know you had
You know
one.
what?
It's this with the ball. It's this.
Oh no, that's Wilt. Wilt.
No, but that's
Elbows
what
out.
Bill did too.
Oh no,
but
Bill
he's,
Russell
what
was
he's
just like
referencing
this.
is Bill Russell is the most successful basketball player to ever play. Most successful. He's not the GOAT. There's a huge difference.
And listen, Bill Russell played
change
in
the
an
subject.
era.
Let's talk fantasy.
Where, I just need to say one quick thing. He played an era where they had 12 teams. 12 teams. Okay. Yeah. Bill Russell just went like
12
this.
teams,
and
the average height was the average height in those leagues was the Doug Flutie height of 5'7". So every player was 5'7" except Wilt and except Russell. Everybody else was like they were like
that's why he held his hands up here.
Almost Billy Barty, almost Billy Barty height. It was like really it's unbelievable back then.
Okay, Sam has a question. Would you guys trade LeBron for Harden in a points league? Now, Sam, I'm now familiar with the fact that you're in a points league.
Don't you own both, Daniel?
I do. So I wouldn't trade them in my team because
yes, you would trade them for each other.
Myself. But in a points league, Ross, you take this one first.
I like, again, because where Harden plays and there's like 2 other great players that are going to score a lot, but Harden's getting a lot of assists. He had 12 assists last game. He's playing unbelievable. He's getting rebounds. He's playing defense for the first time. But that all being said, I would still want LeBron. LeBron is like 46 points against his old team, the Cavs, the other night. He's always in the top 5 with assists. His rebounds, the same thing. He's just tearing it up. I mean, LeBron is revitalized right now. I would rather have LeBron right now, but not by much. I mean, it's a very close thing, but again, I'd rather have LeBron in a points league.
Well, Ross, can you also address for the people who are watching, what's the difference between a points league and a category league?
So a points league, you get like 2 points for a field goal, 3 points for 3 points, of course. But then like steals can be 5 points or 2 points. Offensive rebounds can be more points than a defensive rebound. It just depends how the commission sets up the league. I've seen some crazy things. I even seen like flagrant fouls worth points or like technicals worth points. So points leagues, they have like crazy points for like some really weird categories, but basically it doesn't matter what your field goal percentage is, has nothing to do with it. It's all about points, rebounds, assists, and they're all categorized as a value, which is like, could be 1, it could be 2, could be 3. It just depends what the category, how much it's worth, what your commission did.
So it's a really interesting question, because I think part of that question is that Harden's going to shoot over 90% from the free throw line, and LeBron's going to shoot
doesn't mean anything.
62%.
Doesn't mean anything.
It just doesn't mean anything.
The only thing that matters is the 1 point you get for the free throw. That's all that matters.
Right. Do turnovers typically count against you in a points league?
Some leagues it doesn't. They don't even have it down there. I mean, I played in points leagues, and we don't count it as a category at all. Doesn't hurt.
Sam, tell us if turnovers count in your league, and we'll get back to you on that. Now. Patrick Donovan is saying that he wants a beer league. So we can get to that in a second. But, guys, we are running out of time to answer some questions about fantasy sports. I take Newcastle in a beer league. Okay, Sam says that his league does count turnovers, so he's probably going to keep LeBron. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, Harden only dominates in one category over LeBron, and it's not even dominating by that much at this point.
So Sam says -2 for turnovers in his league. Okay, 2 guys that haven't been mentioned on solid pickups. We've talked about them a lot on this show.
I have a couple too.
Enes Kanter is still going to be playing.
Is he still under
60%? He got 22 rebounds the other night.
Is he still under 60%?
I didn't know he was still under 60.
I think he's 58%, but I'll check.
Is he 50? That's fine. I mean, we mentioned his name like every week the past 4 weeks.
We do.
But
Shake Milton. Shake Milton's another guy we mention every week, and he's 30% own.
I love Shake Milton.
Crazy.
I mentioned his name 6 weeks ago. I think he's one of the better players to pick up right now. Some players I want to mention before you leave, because we're running out of time. Rubio from Minnesota. He's not your point guy. He averages 6 points a game, but he's averaging 8 assists a game the past 2 weeks. He's 4 rebounds and 1.5 steals a game the past 2 weeks. So he'll help you with different categories, and he's available in a lot of leagues. Rubio, he doesn't get the 11 points. He's not going to be a big scorer for you, but with assists, huge help with assists and steals. I mean, he's somebody that you should really think about picking up if you need that. Another guy that I love right now, he's a streamer. If you don't know what a streamer is, that's somebody that's going to play for you start for like 5 or 6 games, and then you dump him because players are not playing. And that's Reggie Jackson, not the baseball player Reggie Jackson, but the basketball player Reggie Jackson. I know you guys get him mixed up all the time. But that all being said, Reggie Jackson had 20 points last time he played. Kawhi Leonard and George and Beverly did not play in the game. Beverly has a hurt knee. I don't know when he's coming back. Kawhi didn't even go on the road trip either than George. So Reggie Jackson, the Clippers have a huge road trip. They just played like 1 or 2 games. They have like 5 more games to go. If you need a point guard that's going to get you points, assists, and steals, Reggie Jackson's your guy. But remember, it's a streamer, which means in a week or 2 weeks, you'll probably be dropping them, but doesn't matter. Use them as much as you can now, and then drop them when his playing time goes down. But Reggie Jackson is somebody that you want to pick up immediately. Listen to Ross the Boss. I'm always right.
And I have
one. I want one
to sneak in, because I have to sneak in a Terp. I'm a Maryland Terp guy. So Kevin Huerter from Atlanta is Red Velvet. Great nickname, by the way. Redheaded, played for the Terps. He's averaging in the last couple of weeks 12 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, almost 2 steals. And he's playing 30 minutes a game right now for Atlanta at their small forward position and shooting guard. So he's another guy who contributes a little bit across the board, and you can get him pretty easily. He's available in almost all the leagues.
Love Kevin Huerter.
Finally, somebody agrees with me on Kevin Huerter. I've been talking about him for a while, and everybody would talk a bunch of crap to me. Okay, we got another question from Sam. Do you guys think Oubre will get better? I do. He thinks that Oubre will. Sam, this is one that where we're not in agreement. I think Oubre's just not fitting in there. I mean, and listen, he's owned by one of my arch nemesis in our league. So I kind of hope he doesn't. But I actually don't think he's going to. Casey, what do you say?
There's been talks about him getting traded. I think if he gets traded, I think he's one of those guys who might need to get into a new system. So I kind of agree with you that if he's going to improve, I don't know if it's going to be in Golden State.
Okay. A couple other ones to just mention. And these are ones we mention all the time. Danny Green, Joe Ingles, back. He's back on the radar.
Average Joe Ingles.
He's a streamer. You play him while he's hot.
He's a streaker? Streamer. I thought you said streaker. I'm like, he streaks around the court.
You play him while he's nude.
Play him, right.
Okay, guys, do we have anybody else that we need to mention?
Yeah, I got a couple. Jeremy Lamb, I mentioned. Jeremy Lamb is averaging 16 points.
Yep.
Is averaging 16 points a game the past 2 weeks. He's somebody that you should consider, especially you need points and rebounds. He's playing 25 minutes a game right now for the Indiana Pacers, but I feel his average will go up in minutes played. Jeremy Lamb's a solid pickup right now. Is a lot, you got to consider him. I think it's a good pickup. Another guy I've been ranting and raving about just because they have no other point guards in Orlando. It's Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony's been getting better every week. His numbers going up. It's inclining, not like certain people Dan picked that are declining. This guy's going up in value, and his stats are getting better. He's getting more comfortable in the NBA. That all being said, Cole Anthony's somebody else you should consider. He's a terrific point guard. He went to North Carolina. He knows how to play under pressure. He's somebody else I like a lot right now.
Okay, I'm just going to mention this. Kelly Oubre has been actually better of late. I hadn't checked in on it that much.
Wow.
He has.
What?
He's ranked 63rd overall in Yahoo in the last 2 weeks, and Sam points this out. So listen, Sam, we might need to bring you on the team. You're doing a great job.
He's another he's another guy who put down as a bust this year too.
Who's Sam? That's not cool. We just met him.
No, Oubre, Whiteside, Ball.
I like
Booker.
I don't care what you say, Ross. We like Sam.
That's right.
Sam's a good guy. I like Sam too.
He's hanging out with us. We love this dude. 41 points last night in a points league. That was Oubre? Wow. Now, I didn't catch this, Ross. We're going to wrap up shortly, but
okay.
Patrick Donovan said Frank the Tank. Did you make a Frank the Tank reference?
You did earlier.
I did when I said I love when this drink hits my lips.
Streaking.
And then streaking is also Frank the Tank.
Yeah, we're all going streaking by the quad. That's right. Frank the Tank. Exactly. We're all doing old school references, which one of my favorite movies.
So Sam does admit Oubre has been a bust, but he's been better lately. He just was wondering.
I would drop Oubre so quick and make your head spin, just so you guys know. Keep going.
Okay, guys. I mean, who else do you have? I think we've got this nailed down. I hope that we've prepared you well. One thing I will say is if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, put your comments below. And I would say to call in, but we're about to wrap up the show. So I'm just
next week I want Patrick Donovan to call in because he'll be a great character for the show. He knows.
And Patrick Donovan, if you come on, I will not only imitate Bill Russell, I'll imitate any NBA player you'd like. I can imitate Karl Malone doing a free throw. And I don't know what he was saying. Sounded like he was saying, "I swear I'm going to kill my mama." I don't know what it was. Okay, guy. Oh my God, Lauren says that she can't wait to steal more players from you. So, and Sam is asking when is our next show. So we have a Q&A every Tuesday night. And wait, Patrick Donovan's trying to get on now. We'll see if we can get on right before this. But our Q&A is Tuesday nights, and our waiver wire is every Thursday night. So we are live.
And another show.
On Mondays,
I do a show with Sully McCullough on Monday nights, which we just started last week, and it's not fantasy driven; it's more NBA driven. We talk about everything from sneakers to stuff that's going on in the NBA, but it's a very fun comedic show. Sully McCullough is one of the brightest comedians working today. If you don't know him, just Google him. He's been around for a while, and he's funny as heck. It's a great show, and we come on Mondays. It's really something.
He's hilarious, and I have to say, I watched the premiere, and I just wanted to jump into the conversation. You guys were talking, it was like those days before I had kids, and you could hang out and talk about basketball all the time. It was the greatest. Now, we do have one more question while we're waiting to see if we can get Patrick Donovan on, which is when do baseball league drafts open? Sam, I do want to tell you this. We're going to start our baseball coverage.
Oh, I'm excited for baseball.
This is Casey's favorite game. It's also my favorite game. And it's Lauren's favorite game, another one of our hosts. Ross, I don't know where baseball ranks for you, but baseball league drafts should open sometime in February, mid-February.
Baseball drafts show up February 15th. Usually when pitchers and catchers show up, that's when I start seeing drafts. Baseball for me, it's my favorite sports. I still play baseball. I love it. I go to games all the time when I could go. I'm excited for baseball season this year, though. There's a lot of movement on a lot of different players, and it's going to be a great season.
And Ross has inherited one of our keeper league teams. He's now in our keeper league. Ross.
Yeah, he gave me the worst players I've ever seen, but it's fine. I'll still win.
Oh no, that team used to be much worse. You got to give Ben some credit for building up that team.
Oh, you guys really screwed me. But that all being said, are we? What else?
We're waiting.
We're waiting.
I want to give Patrick Donovan one more chance. If guys, for next week, if you want to come on, you go to I almost said dial www, like with a rotary phone.
There he
think
is.
We have him. I think
Oh,
we
do
have
we?
him. He's here.
Yeah.
Patrick, come on. Please
Hey
join
guys,
us.
I'll change my name. I'll let everyone know. Yeah.
Pat Donovan,
Hey.
go. What's going on, brother? How you feel? How's the football team look?
Right now, so good. I mean, unfortunately for the season. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me pause the other one. 1 second.
So Patrick's the head coach over at Windsor, which is in Canada, and he's
Defensive coordinator.
defensive coordinator. He's also
my
he grew
buddy's
up
the
in
head
New
coach.
Hampshire. He grew up in New Hampshire, and he went to college at McGill, correct, in Montreal.
Concordia University.
Concordia, excuse me.
Concordia.
I don't have anything right today.
No, yeah,
So let's-
that's
yeah,
okay.
Ross-
I'm
Ross
just
has,
like
he was
better
I have
with
so
his
much stuff
picks.
in my head. I just can't remember. So Patrick went to Concordia. He coached at McGill,
Correct.
and you actually coached somebody that we know that played for the Chiefs last year for the Super Bowl. Why don't you tell Dr.
Laurent
Dan?
Duvernay Tardif. So
To tell Dan again, who is it?
Laurent Duvernay Tardif.
Now
Wow.
he's a
I'm
doctor.
impressed
He
you were
quit
able to say
football
that.
this year. Dan, he's a full-out doctor. He quit football just so he can
That's right.
he can take over
Exactly.
and help people with the whole virus situation. So
Wow,
instead of
that's
playing
pretty
football
admirable.
this year, he's not playing, and he's helping people with the virus in Montreal. I mean, this guy's
Patrick, were you the one who instilled these values in him? I'm sure.
Maybe no. No. He's a what a special breed. He actually, his first year at McGill, he could not speak a word of English. He's a French kid. So imagine going into medical school, playing football, not knowing a word of English, and then being able
Wow.
to study.
and he won the Super Bowl last year. He actually brought the Super Bowl trophy to Montreal last year. And he, this kid is like, was he all pro last year or was he mentioned? He was
I don't think he was
mentioned. I know
all pro.
that.
Maybe he was mentioned, but
He was mentioned.
all
But
pro.
I mean, this guy quit this year to help with the virus. Instead of playing the Super Bowl next week, he's actually in
Saving
Montreal
lives.
being a doctor. I'm a
Saving
real
lives.
doctor, not a quack like Dr. Dan is. This is a real medical doctor,
Yeah.
not the BS that we know with Dr. Dan with the whole,
Patrick, how do you know this joker? I want to hear.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
Now I
Also-
really
Now I
want to
do
know.
want to know.
So Ross, so I met Ross through a buddy of mine, George Tucci, the one who thinks Bill Russell.
One who's not coming on, the voyeur.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So he's, and that's why I asked you guys the questions about the top 5 GOATs, because George Tucci for some reason thinks Bill Russell is number 1. And
This guy. He thinks Bill Russell is number 1 because he thinks it's just a math problem where you just
Because of the rings,
Yeah,
he
you know,
thinks because
that's
he
it.
doesn't understand what a goat means. He's just so naive and so not understanding. And he should come on and defend his honor, but he won't. He's scared. He sits at home in Montreal, staring at the television, watching basketball, and he doesn't even
Oh,
defend his
dear.
honor. He's scared, Pat, isn't he?
he's scared. It's because he doesn't know. He
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't know.
One day he will.
Yeah.
I do like. I'm just going to say one last
He might
thing.
know.
I'm going to say one last thing, but
Yeah.
Patrick, I want you to come on next week again. We
I will
wanna talk to
definitely
you
try.
more.
For sure.
Try.
I would love to.
I'll do any
You guys
imitation
do a
you
great
want.
job.
But I do want to say it was great. When I asked how you met Ross, I don't know if you noticed it, but you started to whisper. You were like, "Oh,
Because my
Look,
daughter's
it made
sleeping
me think.
upstairs.
If I say this out
that's why,
loud, I'll be
that's why.
cursed.
All right. Well, Patrick, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey.
Thank you for all your questions and
It's my
supporting
pleasure.
us.
Thank
We
you,
really
guys.
Please come
appreciate it.
back next week.
You guys do a phenomenal job. And by the way, LeBron will never be the GOAT because the difference between him and Jordan wants to play against the best, whereas LeBron wants to play with the best. That's why
Ooh.
he'll never be the GOAT.
I like that
Interesting.
thing.
I
By the
hadn't
way, do
heard
you see
that
what
one
I'm wearing?
before.
I am actually wearing a Jordan shirt. He
It's-
is the GOAT. I mean, the other
He is
thing
the
about
GOAT.
him is he wanted to win more than anybody else, and he would not. He would not.
100%.
do
Oh,
that.
Pat, I want to ask you real quick. I do want to get your guy who's the doctor on next week for the Super Bowl week. We're doing a special tour about the Super Bowl, and we're talking to a bunch of different personalities about
Okay.
the big game. And your guy, it'd be great to talk to him just because he
I
played
will
in the game
definitely
last
try.
year, and he's a
Wow,
doctor.
way
and,
to put him on the spot.
and I have he can make one
Live
call. You
TV.
can get him for a 5-minute interview. But I
will
have two
definitely
doctors
try
right
for
here,
you.
Dr. Dan and Dr.
would
Casey,
be
are both
amazing.
doctors. They're real doctors.
Guys,
They're
I
not
need to
quacks.
pause
They're
for a
they're really
second.
good doctors. They're one of the best in the business, actually. I'm just not saying that.
It's
But
true.
the-
We're not quacks, but I need to
they're
pause
great.
for a second
Amazing.
because Sam Jacobowitz, who's been he's been our MVP of comments, other than Patrick Donovan. He's going out for the night. Yes, Sam, we will see you next on the next live stream. Patrick, it's awesome having you on. I can't
Hey,
wait to see
thank you,
which
guys.
imitation you want me to do. And
Now that we know he's a
I did-
football coach, he's got to be
I'll
more
come
active.
up with
I
something
did
good.
Cartman and Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh. I do lots of imitations.
Mr. T.
Ross didn't even know who that. Mr. T. A pity the fool. I don't
Please
know. I'll
don't
have to work on
encourage
that
him.
a little. I know the
Please,
words.
Please, I beg you, don't encourage him with this stuff. We're
Joe
creating a
Biden.
monster.
Do Joe Biden.
Okay, Joe Biden. I need to work on my Joe Biden.
Okay.
I'll get back to you next week. I'm gonna watch a lot of Joe Biden this week. All right, Patrick. Thank you for
Great job,
joining us.
guys.
You are the man.
Love ya. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
See you later,
Thanks,
Pat.
man.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We hope that we've prepared you well for the waiver wire this week. Remember, we have a Q&A every Tuesday. We have Sully and Ross on Run It Back every Monday, and we've got Thursdays waiver wire. So if you like basketball, we've got you covered. Now, I would also like to say thank you to our sponsor, Killcliff. It is delicious. I just wish you would put the name on the back of the can. So just work on that, Killcliff. But otherwise, you're doing great. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and put your comments below. Thank you for joining us.
Everyone is happy with the new flavor of Killcliff CBD Strawberry Days. It's clean energy. Makes your days more pleasurable by infusing strawberries right into your drink hole. Look at Sally. Her drink hole is happy. Way to go, Sally. Get the world of tomorrow today at killcliff.com. The biggest no-brainer in the history of